So we're walking along this path on the top of Osijela Hill, and we see this stone, which reminds us of the stones on the lower terrace on Vratnica Tamilus, because it has this glue on it. It's very strange white stuff. We also see this on stones on the Bosnian Pyramid of the Moon. Interesting stuff. Let's get a couple photos. More glue. Yeah. Tying this structure to Vratnica Tamilus, tying it to the Pyramid of the Moon. Everything's an artifact. The hill is an artifact they were walking on. Every stone is an artifact because they constructed every single one of these stones. None of these are natural. Well, here are these clay layers. You can see them very clearly. These constructed clay layers. Really thin layers, really incredible. Just incredible what they did. Ah, amazing. I can never quite grasp how big these structures are, because the next day they just look way bigger than they could have been. Way bigger, always bigger. And this is just one complex of tens of thousands of pyramid complexes all across the earth. And the same kind of intelligence, the same level of advancement in the civilization gave Earth its pyramids. So it didn't have to be one specific race, one specific ET race, or one specific then terrestrial race, advanced, society, whether it was human or whatever it was that built these. It could have been many, many different advanced species that had what they probably think of as basic engineering, basic physics, basic chemical knowledge. The etymology of clay is glue. Did you know that? The etymology of clay is glue. So it's a chemical experiment. It's a chemical, it's like chemistry class where your chemistry teacher is playing around and he brings in some dry ice and he puts it in his pocket and it's pouring out of his pocket this fog of dry ice, vapor. It's like a game to the ancients, I think. It's so easy to them. They know the first thing they have to do is to make the glue. So they create the clay, because they need the glue to keep their structure strong. Proto-Indo-European language gives us gleya, G-L-E-Y-A. Now think of how close that is to clay. G-L, gl, and clay, kl. So you've got gleya, thousands of years ago, then glina in the Slavic languages. Then we have ancient Greek and ancient Roman. Ancient Greek is glia, G-L-I-A, and in Latin it's gluten. The clay stone is made primarily of clay, which means it's primarily of glue. So it's gluing itself together in a stone, a hard baked stone. So it's baked glue, a baked glue stone, let's say. Clay stone is glue stone, okay? And that alternates with soft clay, which is soft glue. So you've got hard baked glue alternating with soft glue. Now the soft glue glues itself together in a layer of a centimeter or a meter or 3 meters. The Pyramid of the Moon has 3 meter or more layers of soft glue, soft clay. So it's that's a sticky glued layer that's stuck together for its entire height, right? Then that sticks itself to the layers of claystone or glue stone above and below it, which are internally stuck together by the heating process that happened. And also the clay is used to bind the concrete on the Pyramid of the Sun. So that pyramid has absolutely stunningly thick layers, and I'll insert some photos. Really thick layers of concrete, 4 of them stacked one on another. The Pyramid of the Sun, on its surface, and every one of those blocks was heated up to, with clay as a binder for the river stones, was heated up to 900 degrees Fahrenheit. So the clay, when heated up, isn't just a sticky binder. It's a binder that will last centuries and millennia and tens of thousands of years and hundreds of thousands of years and maybe a million years. I mean, it's so hard. It's the hardest documented concrete ever analyzed, ancient or modern. It goes up to 133 megapascals. So that is way beyond modern day concrete. It's way beyond anything the Romans ever did. So that's the power of clay. It's the power of glue. They use it to bind their concrete. They use it to bind their clay stones to make really hard stones all across Osijela Hill, all across the Bosnian Pyramid of the Moon, all across the Bosnian Pyramid of Love, the Bosnian Pyramid of the Dragon. All of this layered clay stone that composes the Fojnica River bed was technologically crafted by heating up the clay to really high temperatures and adhering each layer. So you can see this incredible, strong, baked, adhered clay layers. So they're not just baked layers, like in the pyramids and the hills, but the riverbed is baked, adhered clay layers. So as the layers were cooling, each layer, because each layer is separate, but it's adhered to the next layer, they put the next layer on as the one below was cooling, so that it would adhere to the one just placed on it. And you say, but how is that possible? I mean, these layers are massive. How did they engineer that? I mean, it's not like a small brick. Some of these layers go on for 10 meters or more. Most of them are at least 5 meters long. So you say, but how would they do that? How would they just lay that down? Unknown. I think that they were baking the clay using sonic technology. But that still leaves a whole lot of things that are unexplained in how they did any of this. I mean, let's look at the concrete on the Pyramid of the Sun. Those slabs, some of which are as thick as the distance from the bottom of my foot to my hip, so about 3 feet, were laid in situ. They were poured on site. And because the slope is 44 degrees, it's really, really steep. So if we tried to pour concrete on a slope like that, the concrete would slide a little bit or a lot, depending on the viscosity. And it would be thicker at the bottom of the slab, but there is no change in thickness in these slabs. So somehow they laid this concrete on this really steep slope, and there's no change in thickness. So using sonic technology or some other means, but probably sonic technology, heating up with sound, heating up the clay with sound, they managed to create these blocks that sustain the thickness throughout the block. Okay, I'm just going to stop for a second.